Are you constantly chasing the next thing, feeling drained and disconnected? The solution isn't more doing, it's strategic pausing. Let's explore practical, bite-sized restorative practices that can create a profound shift in your well-being and bring you back to the present moment. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please help me out by clicking like, even subscribing to the channel. I very much appreciate it. It really helps me to keep bringing these kind of videos out to help you and other people. And let's talk about micro pauses, little planned pauses during the day, why we need them, first of all. There's an illusion that constant hustle is going to bring us where we want to go. So we're stuck on a kind of hamster wheel of, okay, doing something helped me to get somewhere. And so I just keep doing. And the reality for anybody, no matter their level of achievement or success, is that having no breaks is a huge risk. It creates burnout. It can take you further away from your goal, make it harder for you to really even enjoy the process. If you're burnt out, if you're anxious, and things start to shut down internally, we get decision fatigue, then it's less likely that we even get to where all that hustle is trying to help us to go. So it may feel like a strange, counterintuitive truth that doing more doesn't always get you more, and sometimes doing less is really the way forward. So let's talk about how that works. There's a really awesome video on resting well and resting well to become unbeatable. And I'm going to link it down below. It comes from a channel that I really enjoy that has a lot of content on breathwork and mindset. And the particular video was talking about how samurais in the ancient world would be very invested in how they rest. They would engage in art and meditation and all kinds of beautiful pursuits that provided a balance to their much more active and busy and ruthless lives that they might be living. So I'll link that if you're curious. Have a look down below. But let's just think about other reasons why this is a fact, that doing more doesn't always get us more, and that pausing could be the way forward. So let's think about some of the scientific neurological reasons why pausing is so important to keeping yourself moving forward. And it has to do with the fact that our nervous system needs that gentle undulation between active and passive. Even as you're sitting here watching this video now, there's going to be times that your nervous system is more engaged and active, and times when it's kind of taking a little dip. When we're busy, we're at work or we're solving a problem or trying to achieve something, we might be on a more consistent sort of upslope, and nothing necessarily wrong with that. Sometimes that's needed, but without the corresponding rest and retreat from that upslope, we're going to end up being taxed out. So when you're experiencing that sort of disconnection, feeling super drained, not being able to kind of catch your thoughts, feeling like, what's wrong with me? It could just be that we need to add in these little intentional pauses to help your nervous system, your natural powers of problem solving and achievement work to their best potential. So if we think about what I'm referring to when I say micropause, I'm not talking about a huge chunk of your time that you maybe sit down and meditate or take a nap or even a giant break, you take a vacation or something. If those are needed and you have the time to take them, great. But I think this micro pause practice is more about a regular integration. So maybe rather than a once a day thing, a once a month thing, a once a year thing, we're talking about a regular little break throughout your day where you are able to intentionally tune into what's going on with your body and to meet your body's needs really intelligently at a sort of physical level, at a nervous system level. I think another bit of evidence for the importance of a micropause is just thinking how the workday sometimes flows. When I'm over working in England in the past, people having their regular tea breaks, or maybe here in America, your coffee breaks, these little tiny breaks throughout the day. There's something very useful about having a tiny little ritual that you can retreat to, and that is seen as necessary, socially accepted, that it's important that you take just that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes to do this very ritualistic thing, and then you come back refreshed and you get on with your day. So let's talk about some ideas for little micro pauses that you can take, little intentional restorative practices that you can do that don't entail you necessarily developing a caffeine addiction or reaching for something that is unhealthy. Let's think about the healthy ones. And if you know me, then you know that the first thing I'm going to think about is breath. Sorry, we have to keep coming back to the breath. The breath is so very important in how your nervous system works and how your brain functions in terms of the, resources that you have to bring to the task at hand. So if our nervous system has been at a very heavy work, busy mode, we need to take it down a notch, even if it's just for 30 seconds, maybe even longer. Maybe you have 5 minutes to spare. And one way to do that is to make the exhale purposefully a little bit longer than your inhale. So if we start to tune into our breath, next time you're working or you're really busy, notice, first of all, that we're just breathing automatically. We don't even notice how we're breathing. And if we tune into it, quite often the breath could be shallow, it could be quick. It may even be hard to even notice, am I even breathing at all? We're so intent and focused on what we're doing. So if we do the opposite of what your body is doing, it allows your nervous system to recover from that state that it was in. So breathing in for maybe a count of, let's say, 3 or 4, just taking an inhale nice and deep, and just make the exhale slightly longer. So maybe you breathe out and you count to maybe 4 or 5. If you don't manage that count, that's fine, but just the exhale a tiny bit longer. And if you work with it for a few rounds of breath, you find there's more space to inhale and more time that you can exhale, and your body will really benefit, your mind and your productivity will benefit as well. Now, with or without the breath, another idea is just to get into your senses. I think this is the real beauty of taking a break at work, is just being able to get into a different environment, maybe, so that you can really notice some things that are going on. Maybe you can look out a window, maybe you can set foot outside, even if it's only for a couple minutes, where you're just changing the scenery and allowing that change of scenery to help you to tune in with your senses. What are the colors that I see? What are the smells or the sounds that I hear? What's the sensation of the air or the temperature on my skin? Nothing complicated, but again, you're giving your brain a break from being in that problem-solving cerebral mode to just be in the present moment. It can really help you restore and reset. Movement can also be very important. Very often, if we are super focused on achieving something, it involves staying seated for a long period of time. Your muscles are getting tight and your body is getting stressed. When we feel stressed, our body actually wants to move. Your nervous system, that feeling of disconnection, is probably coming after feeling like we need to move but not being able to. When we feel tension of having to get somewhere, having to achieve something, that tension has to get out somehow. So moving can be really useful. Some really useful things to move is just standing up out of your chair, just walking around a little bit around the room, maybe taking a walk outside. I, in particular, love to stand up and take a little side stretch. Nothing feels better than a side stretch. All you got to do is stand up out of the chair, reach your arms up overhead, link it with your breath as well. Inhale as you reach up, then grab a wrist, left or right, doesn't matter. And as you exhale, pull that wrist over to the side, feel the side of the ribs, the body open. Inhale up to center, exhale, give the same love to the other side. And you could do that a few times. If you're feeling a little bit extra and your environment, your clothing allows, you can add in an exhale forward fold at the end of that, and then inhale back up to the sky. Super simple, but opening through the shoulders, the neck, all those sitting muscles are getting a chance to get some relief. And as a wonderful consequence, your nervous system, your state of focus is going to improve as well. So when we start to regularly engage with these micro pauses, there's like a ripple effect that it touches on a whole bunch of different areas that help with productivity. So if this encourages you to give it a try, have a think about this. So first of all, as you engage in these little micro pauses, you're going to reduce the mental clutter. And that doesn't mean that the problems go away, but when we are stuck in that sort of active phase of our nervous system, there is a lot of noise in our minds as the brain, the nervous system is actively looking for solutions. How do I solve this problem? What's the next thing I need to do? It's kind of on guard all the time, like being tense all the time. And if we can find a little release from that now and again, you're going to find a lot less mental clutter. Things are going to become more clear in your day-to-day work. So other than that enhanced focus, you're also going to feel over time increased emotional regulation. You're going to begin to grab a hold of these little insights of what it's like to listen to how you feel and to respond to it intelligently rather than just simply react. As you engage in more and more little pauses, you're going to have a much better moment by moment temperature on where are my emotions, what do I need, what am I feeling, and why am I feeling that way, and what happens if I just take a breath rather than instantly react. So enhanced focus, emotional regulation, and the last one is really beautiful, which is really a deeper connection with the present moment. What is the point of achieving all these things if you can't somehow be alive and enjoy your way on the process? So as we take these micro pauses, it's just an opportunity to stop and enjoy, stop and feel, stop and appreciate. And this will really help your mental health to stay balanced as you achieve what you need to achieve. So as always, start small. Don't go all or nothing. Start really small. Choose maybe one thing that you want to start practicing with, something that feels like it appeals to you. Start with that. A good way to begin is to schedule out times in your day for this to happen. Look at your calendar, look at what you have going on, and book out just 5 or 10 minutes, maybe once or twice a day, where you're going to add this micro pause, this intentional micro pause. Decide ahead of time what you're going to do, schedule the time. And then as you go, be in a constant state of evaluating. How did that go? What went well? What didn't go well? If the micropause didn't happen, why was that? And through asking these questions and being an observer, you're going to develop your own personal prescription. What is going to work best in your life, in your workday, and also for your own individual body and nervous system. So I would love to hear from you. What are you going to try? What is working for you? Also, let me know topics that you need. What do you need to be able to manage some of the stuff that goes on in your body, your nervous system, and your mental health? I'm here for you. And until next time, be well.